universal health care, no single payer system, and there are many other entities. We could not morally join the European Union. We would not be allowed wanted to because we don't have these human rights and exigencies in place.
Well, it wasn't really a question. It was just a statement that if we don't have the human rights in terms of human and economic rights in place in this country, you're saying we couldn't even join the European Union of all places. And I think that look at. Instead of comparing us, and I know what you're saying, and I'm not suggesting you did this, but instead of comparing ourselves to another country, what I urge we do is we compare ourselves to where we were, where we've been. You know, between the Second World War and the late 1970s, this economy grew, but everybody gained. Everybody gained while it grew. We had more, and we were moving toward greater and greater equality and greater equality of opportunity, and we understood that where we didn't have it, we needed civil rights laws and voting rights laws, and we worked hard. And then beginning in 1980 and 1981, and I can't remember who was president, but something happened around then. We were engaged in a giant U-turn. And instead of the economy working for everybody, the economy started to work for just a few people.
That was the plan.
And maybe that was the plan. But look, when I say to people and say, we can't be Europe, we can't be Scandinavia, we can't be Sweden, I say to them, we are not and should not try to be another country. We should try to be our best. And we have had our best. And we know what our best is.
UAW-CIO.
Yeah, let me say something about that. The union movement in this country is one of the most important movements towards social betterment we have had in America. And one of the problems... In 1955, over a third of all private sector of workers were unionized. And you know what that meant? That meant that people had bargaining power. That meant average workers could go to companies and say, you have got to split the profits with us. Right now in the private sector, fewer than 8% of workers are unionized. And the loss of union power is directly related to the decline of bargaining power of average working people in this country. And so part of what we do, and I don't mean a plank, I don't mean a plan, I don't mean a set of demands, I'm talking about the moral center of what we do is to strengthen trade unions. The question is, what about campaign finance reform? If I had to name one thing that was going to be number one on my list, because everything else we want, whether it's universal health care, single payer, genuine reforms with regard to climate change, getting back to an economy that's working for all of us, everything else we talked about, nothing is possible unless we get money out of politics. And so campaign finance reform is number one. Number one. Yes.
Capital and state. To make alliances between the so-called progressive forces that, to me, seem a result of our poor education system in the middle America, outside of the bubble of San Francisco, the bubble of New York, and the bubble.
Good question. The question is how to make alliances outside the bubble of New York and the bubble of San Francisco. Well, here's the good news. All over America, people are joining together in this movement. In cities and places that people thought there was no energy, no progressive energy at all. And the alliances are going to be made and already are being made. From Occupy San Francisco, and Occupy Oakland, and Occupy LA, and Occupy Wall Street, and Occupy Atlanta, and Occupy all over America. Those are the alliances. Those are the grassroots alliances that are going to change this country. Somebody who has not, yes.
Speak on behalf of the community I belong to, the gay, lesbian, transsexual community, and bisexual community. experiencing really high unemployment rates. Transgender community people are double that of the national average. There's a bill in Congress that hasn't been passed since 1994, the ENDA bill. I'm wondering, is that something, from your perspective, as someone that's worked in government and also as an economist, something that would improve jobs?
The question is with regard to gay, lesbian, transgender movement bills in Congress to prevent discrimination, to make sure that people have, regardless of sexual orientation, they have an equal chance. Is that good for the economy? Of course it's good for the economy. We've got so many talented people in this economy, we can't afford the discrimination that puts those people out of consideration. I'll tell you something else. There are a lot of people who need jobs, but you know something? Employers will not even consider them if they've been out of work for too long.
I know. That's awesome.
Can you imagine? That's the worst kind of discrimination of all.
How about the ERA?
So we have got to make sure that not only is there no discrimination with regard to minorities and with regard to gays and lesbians and transgendered, and in regard to disabled people and ethnic discrimination. We've got to make sure that there's no discrimination based on people who have not had a job, who need a job. Can you imagine? The kind of ethical, moral society and economy we are talking about today is one that does not discriminate.
No.
That is a moral principle.
Yeah.
Follow-up question. Do you think asking Obama, pressuring Obama to put an executive order forward to the Labor Department would help in this situation?
Here's what I would suggest. The question is whether pressuring Obama to have an executive order through the Labor Department on this issue would help. It might help, but let me just say something. If we here begin to think of ourselves as a special group needing special particular things, even though those things are terribly important, then we lose the strength that comes in unity.
Yes.
Do it together.
We are all together. Every one of us is together in this.
We are the 99.
This is a people movement. We are the 99%.
That doesn't make any sense. She's talking about EDNA, non-discrimination protection bill that hasn't gotten passed.
It's still the 99%,
Because,
dude.
Obama and those people will not touch gay, lesbian issues. I mean, except for like the military. I mean, that's not enough. So we can't.
Of course it's not enough. Of course it's not enough.
Disunity. It's not disunity
Can
to
we
fight
all
for
be
gay, lesbian
allies
rights.
together?
It is not. No.
Hey, we're asking for his opinion. I'm sorry.
Everybody's struggle.
This is going to make a better,
Support everybody's
more
struggle.
productive workplace.
Well, can I just say we are here because we're supporting everybody's struggle. We're here. The 99% are supporting not only gay, lesbian, and transgender and others. We are also supporting labor unions. We are also supporting people with disabilities. We are also supporting the average working stiff who is getting shafted in this society over and over again. We're supporting parents who are trying desperately to keep on going when they can't even find jobs. We're supporting the 37% of families with young children who are in poverty right now.
Yes.
We are supporting everybody's struggle.
Pro-choice.
Are you part of the 99%?
Yes.
He is part of that.
The question is the Federal Reserve a fraud, and what is the advantage of going back to gold and silver? We had a big debate about this.
How about you? Are you part of the
William Jennings Bryan led the debate. He wanted to go back to silver. My view on this is that we don't want to peg the dollar to any particular mineral, any particular jewel, any particular item. What we want is a macroeconomic policy. That is a Federal Reserve policy that will work to bring down unemployment and to put money in the hands of average people.
Disrespect.
Yes. Okay. Barbara has an announcement to make about the police commission.
I just wanted to know. Is this that? At 5:30, the police commission started to meet, and I know that there were people who wanted to be there because of the big problem we're having with the police allowing us to not only stay here, they're not allowing us to have shelter. And this is the second time this last week that they took down